So today I'm going to listen to a piece by Corey Reeder, American composer. It's called Codex Symphonia, and it's his dissertation piece, which he wrote in 2021 for orchestra, choir, soloists, and fixed media. And I saw the premiere of this piece. I don't know if it's been performed since, but Corey basically put together this orchestra, this ad hoc orchestra of students, and rented a venue and did this as his dissertation recital. So a lot of the soloists are people that he's worked with multiple times on different projects. He has a whole community of musicians that he works with in Denton, Texas, where he's based. Like, I believe, just looking at the soloists here, the solo viola was Kathy Crabtree, who he's worked with on various projects. The percussionist, I believe, was West Fox. And the soprano, it was Julia Cuejo. There's also SATB choir with at least two to a part. And then the orchestra is 2222, 1111, two percussions. This is in addition to the soloist. And then piano, harp, and strings, at least two to each string part. And then also there is two speakers need to be either on stage or just in front of the stage for stereo playback of fixed media, which only features in one movement, and there's no other performers playing while the fixed media is playing. Unlike Corey's other orchestra pieces, which we've looked at, which were written for reading sessions and for already formed ensembles, this piece is written for an ad hoc ensemble, and the notation reflects that sort of ability to experiment with your own group. The notation is closer to what Corey has done in some of his chamber works. Yeah, so before getting into how the piece works, we've already done a number of episodes on Corey's music, listed below. The first one we did is going to be the one with his biography. And the recording we're listening to, I believe, is on his SoundCloud. Yeah, so it's an 80-minute piece in 8 movements. Here's where you can find the recording. The score is freely available on his website if you want to look at this yourself. Movement 1 is 13 minutes long, and it's for solo viola and orchestra. So the soloist should play with minimum vibrato and move slowly. The rhythms are not regular and should always be playing above the orchestra, I guess, in terms of volume. And each pitch should be shaped as if it's its own phrase. So if we look at the viola performance here, we have 23 seconds plus 12 seconds plus 19 seconds of a G. I'm assuming it's going to be played on the C string non-vibrato, but maybe someone would take it on the open string. And then the ensemble, it says here that the strings come in with halftone harmonics on A flat and G in the second little module here. So very slow music to start. I think I mentioned Corey conducted this as well in the performance. So the conductor is sort of mediating between the two parts of the ensemble. There's no set pulse here, but you could cue each bar line. And halftone harmonics. This is something you would see in Jörg Frey's music, where you just lightly touch the tone a half step above. And it's literally he provides a link here to how to play the music of Jörg Frey. I guess every downbeat of a bar has to be given by the conductor. I alluded to that earlier. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Page turns have to be very carefully planned out. I guess Corey doesn't want them to distract from the performance. All movements are attack. There is a sound recurring throughout the piece, which is cardboard rubbed against the face of a bass drum. This should be executed with slow circular motions across the instrument, taking care to have a consistent and clearly audible sound. I forgot to list the percussion instruments: tam-tam, cymbals, bass drum, cardboard, vibraphone, glock. The second movement is for piano trio and percussion. And I think Colin Stokes was on cello in this, if I remember correctly, the premiere. And this one consists of modules that you repeat. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, you can see you're moving from one module to the next. It looks like they're numbered 1 through 9. And each one has pretty clear instructions on how to execute them. So movement 3 is for percussion and orchestra. If we look at the notation here, it's kind of like the first movement where the orchestra is reading specific pitches and people are just taking whatever pitch is available to them. And the percussion is doing more rhythmic stuff, like pulsed things. And it's still kind of aleatoric, like how fast they would pulsate. So repeated note stuff, basically. Then we have another trio for movement 4. And this one we start to incorporate some pauses here. So more sparse kind of stuff. This is meant to be a short transitional movement. It looks like it's more fully notated than other movements. So this one you are cueing silences and expanses of long tones, basically. Movement 5 uses Corey's grid notation, which he's developed. So this is something he's used in a number of pieces. I don't think we've looked at any of them, though, but he has this idea where performers will read pitch classes basically off of a grid, and I believe they can move in any direction they want, across or below. So the grid sort of limits what pitch you can play next after a certain pitch. I keep saying pitch, I should be saying pitch class, because they can occur in any octave. And obviously the way you move from one to the next is you spend a lot of time on each note in the style that the piece has been in thus far. And this movement I think is just for the string orchestra. Then we have the fixed media movement. All the players are silent, as I mentioned before. Then we have a soprano solo moment for movement 7. Let's have a look here at the score for that. We've got orchestra chords for a number of seconds each. Then the string trio, then a string quartet, and then we just have a sort of conventionally notated melody at quarter equals 60, and this is the movement with choir. Okay. So we get the introduction of soprano and choir here. They've been silent pretty much the whole time. And then what do we have at the end here? Yeah, I remember this. So the ending is a little 3-minute thing for another 3 players, I think. Or it might just be the piano. Yeah, it's just piano. So in the premiere, Alvin Lung performed this. And yeah, it's just conventionally notated. And then the cello and violin enter at the end here. So a mix of aleatoric notation stuff and conventional notation. Some other interesting things about the score. Obviously, everyone is reading off of the score. There are no parts, as far as I know. And it takes a lot to put it together in rehearsal because the conductor has to basically explain how the piece works. And another interesting thing is it is variable. I didn't realize this when I first saw it, but you can sort of augment the size of this ensemble as much as you like. It can be as small as a chamber orchestra or as large as a large orchestra. It's really up to you. So in that way, it's very flexible. I don't have much else to say about this. I don't think there's any program note. I should mention that Corey's dissertation is available through the University of North Texas libraries as a PDF. And I remember reading it. I think it tangentially talks about this piece, but more so talks about Corey's aesthetics and like philosophy, you could say. But, if you're super interested in this, I would just check that out because it's free. I'm going to have a listen to this after a quick nap, and I'll let you know my thoughts. Lots of these people are, all of them are UNT students, but lots of them are people who have worked many times with Corey. I was wrong too about the piano. It was actually Garrison Gerard on the piano, and then Alvin Lung was on organ. Why am I missing so much? Okay, Connor Simmons was still in school at the time, so he was one of the contrabass players. And Anne and Elena were on flute. That makes sense. A lot of names that are closely associated with Corey. I was wrong about all of this because Colin was not one of the cellists either. Looks like it was just Nico and Noah on cello. Yeah, I guess I was going to say it sort of captures a very specific time because the way that, it's a university ensemble, and all of these people have kind of come and gone. Some of them have stayed in Denton. Some of them are still doing their degrees. Many of them have left and gone to do other things. So this is very much a sort of like little time capsule, this recording here. I'm sure I'll have to do a lot of editing for this one just to correct myself with subtitles and such. But I guess there is a program note here. It is a part of a larger series of pieces called Codex pieces. Corey was in school for 11 years. He never took a break between degrees. So this was very much a culmination of all that as he sort of entered the professional world. There's definitely a sense of community here, which I think is very, very cool. It's something I will, remember as I interact with other music communities. Okay. So the recording to this the link is in the video description, and stick around for the post listen if you want to know what I think of it today. Okay, so I listened to this in 2 sections. I gave myself a little intermission after the 4th movement. I'll try to keep this short. Hopefully you took the time to listen to it, and I can say that it is a very different experience listening to it through headphones than it is seeing it live. Particularly seeing it live, the difference between the forces was very audible, and because it's also so quiet, there's not really a huge dynamic difference in the recording between the trios and the full ensemble, but you really feel the difference in the hall. Also, the transition to electronic music, like fixed media, I found that was really, really successful in the hall. And it did feel like this otherworldly break. Here, listening to it through headphones, it's it is a convincing transition, but it's obviously not the same. Watching the whole ensemble sit quietly has a certain like energy to it that you don't get in a audio recording. Yeah, what can I say? It's very Corey. It's sort of a culmination of a lot of things that he's been doing for a long time. I find the performance is very convincing, but the score is missing a lot of information. Like, I don't think you would be able to perform this cold. Like, if I were to put this on, I'd have to fly Corey out basically to help the performers decipher this. There's too much because Corey wants such a specific sound, but his performance directions are so vague. 2 minute percussion cadenza. It's like that could be horrible if not directed correctly. So those types of things. I also noticed that the time intervals are very precise in this, but not so precise in the recording. I think that's one of the immediate things you feel listening to this with the score is like there's this sort of natural push and pull, like, for example, getting the whole ensemble to play together in this style takes time. So to get them all to enter in within 5 seconds, it doesn't happen. It ends up being 10 seconds. Yeah, those are my thoughts. The composer in me wants to just renotate this, but at the same time, it's not really about the notation. I think it's more about what Corey was able to cultivate with these players that he's worked with for so long, and with the time he had with everybody to rehearse this. And did I have a favorite moment or anything? I really liked the silences in this movement, actually, movement 4. I thought that this was really welcome, and I liked that the G unison came back later in the piece, and I like that this like lower note to upper cluster kind of idea comes back from the second movement. I like this sort of like parallel between the second and fourth movement, and I like that the first 4 movements in their durations, it's like long, medium, long, short, is mirrored in movements 5 through 8. I think that's a nice plan for a piece. Next, I think we have... Honestly, I don't know what we have next, because a lot of these pieces that I'm going through right now probably don't have recordings. So... we'll see. It might end up being this other piece from my UNT days by an undergraduate student, or it might end up being one of these pieces from the Winnipeg New Music Festival 2024, although I kind of doubt it. I don't think they're going to have recordings, but until next time, happy listening. If you made it this far, thanks for watching the whole video.